Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. On this week's episode, we'll be recapping the thrills and spills at the Madrid Spain Masters, as well as look ahead at the final stop of the European leg, the Orleans Masters. And accompanying us through it all today is none other than former Australian player and coach, Jeff Do. Jeff, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jasmine.
So Jeff, let's start in Madrid, where Gregoria Mariska-Tunjung stole the headlines after beating two-time Olympic medalist Sindhu in the women's singles final. This win gave the Indonesian her first ever World Tour title. How surprised were you by this result, especially since it took her under 30 minutes to wrap up the entire match?
Yeah, I think I'm very surprised at how quickly she did it. I'm not too surprised after her victory against Carolina Marin in the semi-final. But I think that the way that she conducted herself in a final, her first title, all of Indonesia's hopes and dreams on her, I think that she did an amazing job. And to 21-8, 21-8, less than half an hour is an amazing achievement for her. And I think this is a huge breakthrough for her, especially because she's beaten PV Sindhu 7 times in the past, and this is the first time that she's beaten her. I was amazed with her performance and how she was able to control each and every point. I haven't seen her play this well in ever, and because she came off a victory against Carolina Marin, which obviously gave her a lot of confidence, against PV Sindhu, I felt like she was always taking the shuttle early. She was always the one dominating the point, taking the initiative in the point, and bringing the game to Sindhu, not letting Sindhu use her power and usually Sindhu is the one that bullies someone else around. She's usually one pushing the other person around the court. But this time Tunjung was doing that to PV Sindhu, and that was incredible to watch.
Gregoria obviously put on a fantastic show in the finals, but her journey there really wasn't an easy one. She was pushed all the way in the semi-finals by home favorite Carolina Marin. That in itself is a huge feat, and it just goes to show how much the 23-year-old has improved over the past 8 months, hasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, so going from number 26 in the world to number 12 in the world since August last year, I think it's a brand new player. Not a brand new player, but a breakthrough for a player that we're going to see a lot more of in the future. She's fitter, she's stronger, she's faster than I've ever seen her play before. And because of that, she can reach the shuttle earlier. She can put more pressure on her opponent. She can play the good shots, because when she's higher in the court and earlier to the shuttle, then she can use her already good technique to really push them around the court, use her variation and use her attacking shots, which are very deadly when she has enough time to get there and set up for the shot properly.
I feel happy to finally get my title here in Spain. Yeah, after a long time. It means a lot because I've been waiting this title for a long time. So yeah, I will work more harder to get another title, I hope.
Well, the Indonesian is definitely one to look out for in the future. But now, going back to Sindhu, this is Sindhu's first final of the year after having only gotten past the second round just once since the start of the tour. She must be disappointed with not winning the title this time round, but do you think there are still positives for her to take away from this tournament, Jeff?
Definitely. I think that making the final this time, she fought really hard. I watched the match against Jia Min from Singapore. She saved 7 game points in the first set. So now I think the confidence and the fighting spirit that we're used to seeing for PV Sindhu is coming out, and hopefully she'll get confidence from that, even though in the final it was quite difficult for her to compete with Tunjung. I think that while PV Sindhu is very good, an amazing player, I think her real strength really comes from that confidence, being intimidating on court, being a bully, pushing them around. And hopefully from this experience making the finals, then that will give her the confidence that she can reach that level again and that confidence to play and bully the player around.
Overall, the tournament was good so far for me, because after a long time, after the injury, after the break, I'm playing the finals. So that's a positive note that I would take from this tournament, and work more harder and stronger and upwards and onwards. So I think that's the positive thing that I would take. I mean, it's going to be sad, but I think, it's okay. It's okay to lose, but it's also important that you come back stronger.
Well, it's definitely nice to see Sindhu progressing along and going deep in a tournament again. Meanwhile, in the mixed doubles category, Indonesian duo Praveen Jordan and Melati Deva Octavianti are also on a comeback trail of their very own. They made it to the first final since Jordan's injury layoff, and that's definitely a good sign that they're on the right track.
Yeah, look, definitely. I think that Indonesian mixed doubles has missed them a little bit. There hasn't been any Indonesian pairs that have consistently performed and created really good results. I think that it's a huge confidence boost for them also, because now they can start to compete with the world's best. I do think that they still have some ways to go though, and I know that they've recognized that they're ready to work hard and ready to try to get to their previous form. But I think that when they do start to try to compete against those like Yuta Watanabe, Arisa Higashino and Zheng Siwei, Huang Yaqiong, then they need to be a bit faster. Praveen needs to be faster to move to the mid-court and take the shuttle early. And hopefully Praveen's attack, I didn't see his attack, his smash be as brutal or as much of a weapon in this tournament, but hopefully as they gain confidence, then he can bring his attack back in, which is where they used to win a lot of their points.
And in spite of that, they did make it to the finals where they met Matthias Christensen and Alexandra Boye. The Indonesians were really put through their paces, but the Danes proved too strong, and in the end, they walked away with their first title since March 2021. What impressed you the most about the Danes' performance here?
I think the Danes' performance, especially in both sets, but the first set they had 2 game points against them, but they were able to maintain their composure and really just stick to the game plan, which is making sure that Praveen doesn't get too much time for the attack and really taking the net on. So I think that Boyer was really good to come very quickly to the net and challenge the net. And they won some really critical points at the end of the sets because she was able to take that initiative and take that risk instead of just doing the easy way and just maybe lifting it. They really challenged the net. I think they played really well, and a really good victory for them with their first World Tour title as well.
Over in the men's singles category, we saw its 8th different champion of the year. Now, before we speak about Kenta Nishimoto's win specifically, let's talk about how open and unpredictable the field has been this year. It's been fantastic for the fans and makes for a great show, but why do you think that's the case this year?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I guess looking back in men's singles history, we had like the Lee Chong-wei, Lin Dan era, and then we had like the Momota era where he would dominate a lot, and then we had the Victor Axelsen era, and now it's very open. It's great to see. To be honest, people might not agree here, but I think it's actually when Kunlavut Virasan, he was able to beat Victor in the final in the India Open. And I think the mental barrier of someone able to beat Victor, I think that created a belief in the men's singles category that, hey, I can actually beat Victor. Someone that I maybe can also beat Victor. The psychological, breakdown of that barrier, I think that's been huge in the men's singles event. And now you can see all the different players winning their different events. Like you said, 8 champions from 7 different nations in the last 8 tournaments. It's amazing to see. It's so good because you just don't know what's going to happen for the next one.
And that definitely adds another level of excitement for the fans. But going back to the finals in Madrid, it was an all-Japanese affair with top seeds Kenta Nishimoto and Kanta Tsuneyama battling it out. Now, this could be a tricky obstacle since they are compatriots who play frequently with one another. But what do you think gave Nishimoto the upper hand here?
It was so even during the whole match. So in the first set, Tsuneyama was like dictating all the points. Nishimoto was just like following, and because of that, he didn't create many opportunities himself. And then in the second set, Nishimoto started to take the game to him, started to attack more, started to add more speed instead of just following him. Even though he was down 12-16 in the third set at one point, there was a few points towards the end of the third set where Nishimoto would like creep into the net and put a lot of pressure on the net. The risk that he took there was able to switch the momentum at the end of the third set so that he could come away with the victory.
そうですね。いつもこう練習でやってる同じ日本代表同士なんで、こうお互いの手の内は知り尽くしてますけど、その中でお互いのいいゲームができたと思います。そうですね。これを自信にして、また 今はスーパー300ですけど、またスーパー500、750、スーパー1000と優勝できるように頑張っていきたいと思います。
So Jeff, let's now jump ahead to the Allianz Masters, the last stop in the European leg. This year, the tournament has been upgraded to a Super 300 event for the first time in its history. But what does this upgrade really mean for the tournament as well as for the players?
So when it gets upgraded like this, then the tournament gets more coverage, it gets more points, so the players are awarded more points when they win certain rounds. And that just means it's an excellent tournament leading into Olympic qualification, because Olympic qualification is all about battling for those world ranking points. It's also great to see that because the Olympics is in Paris in 2024, that it just gives badminton more limelight in the country of France. I was actually at Allianz Masters last year coaching, and it was already the city already embraced it very well. There were signs everywhere, there was lots of people there, but the extra coverage here will be even better for the city to get involved here.
Additionally, the Allianz Masters is the final tournament before the Sudirman Cup, where the Olympic qualification begins. Do you think that this is something that the players will have in the back of their mind? And is this a final opportunity of sorts for them to fine-tune their strategy?
Yeah, definitely, especially for the Europeans, because it is the last tournament of the European circuit. So it's going to be important for them to perform well, to build confidence and to build the training plan and to work out what they need to work on and how they need to start the Olympic qualification period. So I think that it's really important that they get the confidence they need from the last tournament, the Allianz Masters, and then also that will pave the path for them into Sudirman Cup.
Speaking of last opportunities, for some players who have not hit their best so far, this may be their last chance to find their form and really get in that last bit of confidence. But who do you think needs that the most right now?
Look, I think that I would love to see Carolina Marin get some more confidence in her playing ability. Her actual results have been not bad. I don't think she's moving as well as she was or she needs to be moving into Olympic qualification, and I was hoping that she was going to be at a bit better form at this stage. But it is possible that I'm very excited for that there'll be a rematch against Tunjung maybe in the semi-finals if they both live up to their seeding, which will be a challenge after Tunjung's performance in Spain, because she'll be coming from a lot of confidence. But at the same time, Carolina, she's a fighter. We all know how well she analyzes matches, plays game plans. So I'm sure that she was watching her game. She was watching the game against PB Sindhu, and I'm sure that she'll be ready for it when it comes as well.
Now, looking at the past winners, Toma Popov will be hoping to defend his title and make it 3 wins in a row in Allianz. With how the Frenchman has performed so far this year, do you think that he stands a good chance to go deep this time round and potentially be the 9th different winner in the discipline?
I think in men's singles anything is possible, but I think this one will be difficult. I think that he played very, very well in Spain against Nishimoto in the semi-finals, losing just 21-23 in the 3rd set. I think he's definitely in good form, but with the higher level of competition that comes with the Super 300 compared to the Super 100 when he won it, I think it'll be quite a difficult task for him to defend. So looking at the draw, he's got Igor Cleo in the first round from Brazil. Definitely not a simple, easy round. And then he's got Merkel, the Frenchman, in the second round, which is also quite a difficult round. I think that it's always possible, but I think it might be a little bit tricky for him to defend his title this time, even though I'm sure the home crowd will be cheering him on to do so.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for taking the time to join us and for all your wonderful insights. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here today, but we hope to have you on the show again soon.
Thanks for having me.
For all of you joining us at home, do catch all the action from the Allianz Masters this week. And if you're on the go, you know what to do. Catch the latest news, match updates, and statistics through the BWF app, Badminton for You. And before I go, you know the drill. Don't forget to leave your comments, thoughts, and questions on the BWF Facebook and YouTube page. Take care, and I'll see you next week.